I think April coming here too, baby.
Hmm?
I think April coming here too, ain't she?
You coming in here too, sis?
We on it popping. We are live on it popping.
Just watching.
You can move that stuff right here. Oh yeah, he on here early. What's up? All right. Daniel Frank. I mean, while I'm here, I'm always showing fabrics. There you go, baby.
Hi,
Daniel, what's up, man? How you doing?
really good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Let me turn you up. I want to make sure I hit everything.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, you might want to turn yours up too. I got
Yeah,
a thick
my
accent.
got my lip up here, so hope it works.
Yeah. Oh man, look at that jacket in the bag. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I know. I just wanted to have something kind of thematic.
Yeah, a little bit. Something to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wait for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, just get everybody on here. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of people excited to see you too, man. So
Yeah, no, I have friends. I've got some amazing friends and family who are super excited, and just amazing like people on Instagram who I've kind of made friends with.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Same here. So before we get started, everybody that's on right now, if you have any questions, you can hit the little circle with the question mark in it. Put all your questions in there, and we'll go through them later and towards the end. Let me see. One more minute.
Haircut, Daniel.
Wifey said nice haircut.
Oh, thanks. I actually got it yesterday for this. Hi, Mimi.
Then we got April. It's a part of the team.
Hi.
You see her?
Hi.
Oh, let me see. Got another minute. You know what I'm saying? I like to give them time, baby. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started. You hold that a little bit, baby. So what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Dope Men Soul. Today's guest, we have Daniel Frank. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Yeah, super excited.
Nice. You're all the way in the UK right now. Could you tell us
London.
specifically where you are?
I'm in London at the moment.
Okay.
So I moved here a couple of months ago.
All right. Well, this is interesting because every time I have a guest on, sometimes I might know a little bit about their story if they're like a close friend, but sometimes I just, I follow people from afar, just like yourself. And ever since you've been making like some of your first garments, I was like, oh man, that's dope for his first project. And then learning how long you've been sewing, man, it's just been pretty cool to see your evolution. So before we get into all that, I want to just know a little bit more about you, man. Like what you do for a living, what's your background, what are your other hobbies other than sewing, and just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm just out of university. So I did a physics master's. So that's in the summer, so quite different. And at the moment I've just got a job in London. So I'm a market analyst in the wine and spirits sector. So it's quite
okay. That's what's up.
Yeah, no, like I'm so excited just to like be able to get a job though. So I'm doing that at the moment, and no, apart from sewing, like I'm actually like I love food and cooking, and that's kind of was originally my main like passion.
Really?
Yeah, actually during university, before university, I was a chef.
Okay. Did you make Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, we don't do Thanksgiving, but I'll do Christmas.
Oh, okay. My bad. But do you cook for the holidays and stuff for your family and all that?
Yeah, well, like luckily all my family we're really good cooks anyway, so we all like to share it out. And
good background.
But so it was a strange story because originally I was actually wanting to become a chef full time, and then I started doing well in school, and I wanted to go to university, and I love science, so I ended up doing a master's in physics, and then from that, I kind of discovered sewing this literally this summer in June. So it's just been such kind of amazing quick journey so far.
Wow. So just a couple of months ago during the pandemic.
Yeah. So this is definitely like a pandemic hobby that has just
really.
Yeah.
So Okay, so do you have any background in fashion at all? Like, was you like the most stylish person, or did you had a good relationship with your tailor? Like, what did love for like sewing come about?
So it really came from my family because my grandmother, who passed away last year, she was a trained seamstress and pattern cutter. So she was the main sort of sewer in our family, and then she taught my mum and my aunt. So like my mum, she says that she knew how to sew before she could walk. Like that was so she my grandmother taught my mum, and during the summer I was just really interested because my mum always made like clothes for us when we were younger, and
Really?
I was always kind of aware of it, but I wasn't very interested in it for some reason. I always thought it was just more of like a women's thing or
Got
just
you.
wear.
Got
Um,
you.
and I just had this like very specific image of what sewing was, being a
Yeah.
bit of old fashioned. So I was quite curious over the summer, and I wanted to make myself a hoodie. So my mum helped me make that, and from that,
Nice.
I literally got addicted.
So you just started from a hoodie.
Yeah, just started from a hoodie, and then I think one of the things I really loved was I was taking something which was like two-dimensional and almost like a blueprint, and then turning it into like this sort of engineering 3D construction. So like my science brain was really interested, and then I thought, damn, I can like make some really cool stuff with this. So I think the second or third thing I made, I drafted my own toile for making like a sort of
Wow.
Norris Japanese sort of jacket. So quite simple shapes, and that was really cool. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll keep going. I'll do another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing.
Wow.
Uh, so yeah, it just really went from that first item with my mum, and it just I got addicted.
Okay. So growing up, you saw some sewing growing up, but you was never a part of the process.
No, I was never. I
You
was
was
always
like,
on
oh,
my
I
own.
want this fabric or I want this
No,
style.
no,
She just
no.
made whatever she thought was stylish for you.
Yeah, and like I think when I was little, she made some things for me, but it was never when I was sort of older. Um, so I never sort of was involved in that process, or never had stuff made for me when I was older. So
Got you.
so I think as well, like coming across your account and other guys on Instagram making these amazing clothes, which are modern, really stylish, and also for men, um, it would just really kind of change my perception of
Yeah.
sewing. Because in my head as well, like I had this idea of sewing and like design and like designers, they always
Yeah.
seem quite like separate things.
You're right.
But and in my head, I just thought, oh, I could never kind of do that because you have to go to college and you have to like be a professional. But
Yeah, right?
yeah, it's almost like the fear of it was so kind of, or it was this kind of massive thing in my head of like, oh my God, these amazing designers that create all this crazy stuff. And I thought, I can never ever like touch that. I can never even, why even bother starting then?
Right.
But when you kind of start to break that illusion of it, then it's like, oh, this is so fun. This is like actually doable.
Right.
And like
I,
look,
I, I can I can agree with that because if you buy something out of the store, you look at it like I could never make this at home. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely feel you on that.
yeah. And like when you go to stores now, then you look at like the clothes and then you start looking at the seams and then you think like, oh, how is this made?
Exactly.
You get
You
some like,
start trying to reverse engineer it a little bit.
yeah, you get some looks then from people thinking you're trying to like nick it or something.
Right. I know you said your first project was a hoodie, but what like how did you get to the idea of just, you know what, let me try sewing? Like what was the initial push? Was it like something you saw online? Was you just like, I don't know, tired of stuff fitting? I know you said a little bit it was the pandemic, so was you just searching for a hobby? Like how did that come about?
Yeah, I think I was at home during the summer with my mum in Wales, and I was thinking, oh, I want to do something during this pandemic to make the most of it.
Okay.
And I knew that my mum was an amazing clothes maker, so I thought, well, I might as well kind of learn from her,
Got you.
learn something. And if I make one thing and I don't like it, that's okay. But and if I make it and I love it, then that'll be awesome. So it was just like more of a curiosity thing. I went into it without any goals.
Got you. Okay, so you just did it just to be open-minded and see how far you could just go in making something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome, man. So since you've been sewing, what's been like, I guess, the most challenging thing you came across? Like, what was that? Like, do you have a technique that you haven't quite yet figured out, or something that was hard and you conquered it and you felt really good about it? Was it something like that already? You've been
So yeah, like an ongoing kind of challenge for me is jersey, like light jersey. Um,
okay,
so I did that t-shirts I did, which was like the color blocking, and that was using 3 or 4 old t-shirts and putting that together.
oh
And
yeah, that's a nice project.
yeah, that was cool because it was kind of like a recycled.
Yeah, do you have it handy right now? If
Um,
not, don't worry about it.
yeah, no, I do actually. Hold on. Um,
Man, it's a really, I want y'all to see this because he actually took like three t-shirts that was too small and then cut them up and made a bigger one.
yeah, it was like
Wow, look at
so
that.
like that, and yeah, on the shoulders because obviously it was if it's too small, you
Right.
can't just sort of chop and change it. You have to literally like extend it out a bit.
Exactly.
So that was like challenging, but actually I wasn't expecting it to be wearable, but it's actually pretty good. The shoulders are a bit kind of dodgy, a bit
Yeah.
kind of yeah, if you look too hard, but yeah, I tried to do a fine jersey, but using like raglan sleeves, and
Got you.
I moved into my new flat, and the light was really bad, so I couldn't really see it properly. And then I was using like my new machine as well, and everything was going wrong. Like I overstretched the neckline, and then I did one of the shoulder sleeve seams the wrong way round. I did one the right way, and the neck was okay, and then I did this the other way round, and I thought,
Right.
oh, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it for a sec.
Got you. Man, that's cool, man. So during this process, what outlets for actually men's wear did you find handy for you? Because I know your mom taught you certain things, but actually like finding patterns, finding stuff that like spoke to men's wear, like did you see much out there? Did you get any inspiration already from the industry? Like where did you find, what I'm saying, starting out?
So I found initially it was quite challenging finding modern patterns.
Okay.
A lot of them were vintage ones, which were just it would need a lot of reworking to make it wearable nowadays. I mean, you could, it's London, so you can wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but and actually, I'm so kind of grateful to you guys for actually making some modern menswear patterns. Because I think it's still like a market which there isn't really a huge amount of variation.
Right.
So yeah, I've got so many, like pretty much all of your patterns I've got in my drawer. So that was really helpful. And then, yeah, Sew Academy was really good just to follow through and like the videos on YouTube. That
Okay.
was really useful. And I think as well, just looking at sort of random designers who, say, for example, you take a denim jacket pattern and
Okay.
you can like swap and change different sort of things. For example, with this jacket here, actually, I used one of the Merchant and Mills patterns, but I completely changed it up. Like I redid the cuff, I redid the pockets, all of that. So it's taking something where you've got sort of the base pattern, and then you see another designer do something cool, and you're like, okay, maybe I could take this one little element and paste it on it, or maybe I could just experiment with like another thing, or some amazing like Instagram sewers, like yeah, like Cinzameni and like Mike Taylor.
Yeah.
They've got some amazing stuff. So I
Yeah,
look
they
at that,
do.
like maybe I could just like borrow expensive borrowing or some.
Right,
some
right.
so it's just like taking inspiration whenever you can get it.
Yeah. Man, that's so awesome, man, because a lot of people think that maybe, let's say you like the phrase home sewer, you know what I'm saying, or someone that just make things for themselves. People wouldn't think that there's so much more skill involved in just sewing. You just said you take a basic pattern and you do all these modifications. You like when you do that, you're working with, what I'm saying, design elements and reconstructing stuff. That takes a whole nother skill. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to measure out, what I'm saying, how you can extend it or shorten it or add different design things, and then you have to create certain stuff. So so you've been able to learn more than just sewing. You've been learning a little bit more pattern making and design element too. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
and it's a step at a time. Like with each project, you can kind of get a bit more adventurous with it. So, for example, there's a project which I've just finished, which is kind of a secret project which I haven't been posting, and it has a lot of fitting to it. And that was a big challenge for me because I'd never done any fitting, especially trying to do it on myself, which is quite
Right.
tricky. I've got like very broad shoulders, so I'm like a size 40 on my shoulders, but then I kind of go into like a 38, 36.
Okay.
Um, and then I've got quite long legs as well, so it's quite kind of tricky to just make sure that there's not too much fabric in the back, and then there's not too much here, and like on the waist. And so actually, I really enjoy that process. And again, it was just learning something new. Like I know, for me personally, I I don't like following instructions. So like,
Yeah. Right.
I look at a recipe like once, and I'm just like, nah.
Right.
I kind of read, like, I watch the video, say like one of your patterns. I watched the video a couple of times, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, I think I can kind of understand it from here, and then
Got you.
I end up kind of making it up as I go along a little bit, and then sometimes like it actually just creates something new and different, which I would have never have done before if I just followed sort of the instructions and the manual by the letter.
Okay. What's been your favorite thing to sew so far, man? I know you've been making a little bit of everything. So, what's been your favorite right now?
My favorite. I've really enjoyed making jackets. I think one of my favorites. I either this one because of the top stitching, the
Okay.
denim one, because that was, yeah, really fun doing that top stitching. Or there was one of the first bomber jackets I did.
Okay.
It was the one which had like the pattern matching down the front.
Okay.
So that was, I know, that will always have a special place in my heart because it was the first jacket I did, and it was
Oh,
lined.
wow.
And like I had like welt zip pockets on the sides, and like all the pattern matching. I really focused on that. I remember, so I was at my mum's sewing it and trying to do the zip at the front, but trying to
Uh-huh.
pattern the two sides. I would sew up the zip it up, and then it'd be like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I did it maybe like
That's,
5 times in a row.
oh,
And
wow. Yeah. Yeah, man.
yeah,
I mean, that's the best way to learn, I guess. You'll take your time next time, learn how to, say, mark it off without going off.
yeah. So now, well, I did a zip recently, and I did it in one go, and it was fine. So again, it is just pushing yourself and kind of not being afraid to kind of take those risks. Like I
Got you.
know, yeah, first jacket, and then why I decided to do a zip. Well, actually, there are 3 zips on that jacket. Like, why would I put myself through that? But it's kind of challenging yourself, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
Got
Like
you. Got you. So, I know you mentioned earlier, like starting out, it was hard to find like men's patterns. I had the same problem too, man, and that's why me and wifey, we kind of teamed up and trying to get more men's modern patterns out because no disrespect to any pattern company, but a majority of the patterns either like pajama pants or like had like some, I don't know, some style that wasn't just current,
yeah,
and not only that, it wasn't enough. Like I go through the catalog and it's like 1,000-page book, and you might have like 4 pages of just men's patterns, and then half of them are unisex patterns.
yeah.
So I was like, babe, when I first started, I was like, is this really ain't don't know men sew or something? And she was like, I mean, it's not her problem, honestly. She does a lot of menswear. I mean, a lot of women's wear. So, but it was something that a lot of guys, would message her, but just wouldn't post it. So because I was already in fashion, I mean, it just opened my mind up. I'm like, man, I got to share a lot of stuff that wife has taught me to other guys, or just show that I'm doing it just so other guys can be encouraged. So yeah, man. Outside of that, like what are some stuff that you would like to see more of in the community? If you have anything in mind.
Yeah, I would. again, like I think on a kind of practical level, it'd be great to see more, more kind of adventurous patterns.
Okay.
I think stuff again, which is more current. So I know with a lot of women's wear, you have seasons of different patterns come through.
Yeah.
Where I feel like with men, it's kind of very static. You have
Yeah.
like the timeless classic pieces, which are great to have and staples. But
Right.
I want to see more adventurous stuff. Like I really want to
Yeah.
see stuff which are like, okay, like that this is gonna be really, yeah, this is gonna be cool. And like,
Right.
or or I know, like I think what the kind of the work that you're doing with bringing a lot of male sewers together, I think is great.
Yeah.
And seeing more of that sort of in the future. And I think especially in the UK, sort of taking that off there is going to be really good. Just to kind of meet sort of more, meet more kind of like-minded people. And I think on a broader level, it's about breaking the image of what sewing is.
Right.
So when a guy says, "Oh yeah, I sew," the first reaction of someone would normally be like, "What? Really?"
Yeah.
It's kind of surprised.
Right.
You're not like you're like a kind of an older woman or something, or like you're not
Right.
like
Right.
a grandmother. But it's kind of reinventing that image. And I think
Yeah.
with TV shows on Netflix, did you watch the Next in Fashion show?
I haven't.
It was the Amazon.
It was the Amazon one? No, I haven't seen it, but I will check it out.
So yeah, there was quite a lot of like guys on there, so making like again, so designers just again, so making like really cool clothes. And I think in a way, if we're able to kind of bring that same enthusiasm and modern take, but on an amateur level, then
Yeah.
that'd be cool. In
Yeah.
the UK, we've got a show called Great British Sewing Bee. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really want to in a couple of years apply for that and go on it.
I saw that. I saw that on your profile. I was gonna ask you. I was like inspiring. I was like, okay. I saw the physics and I saw that. I'm like, okay, you just want to compete.
Yeah,
A little bit.
A little bit of a competitive edge, but
Right. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
So outside of that, like you have any other interests in the I guess in this DIY space? Like would you see yourself doing a collection? Do you see yourself, I don't know, just making money from this skill, or you just doing it just for the love of it?
I think at the moment I'm doing it for the love of it. I think it's easy to kind of kill something by saying, "Oh, I need to make this profitable." And sometimes you need that stage just to kind of nurture it and see where it will grow without any expectations, and without that pressure of being like, "Okay, I need to meet this goal at this time in order to be successful."
Right.
It's kind of like enjoy it as it comes. I really want to actually. So one of my best friends, he does drag out in France, and
Okay.
I'm currently designing a big gown for him.
Dope.
So that's my first piece of women's wear will be for
Nice.
and literally a 7-foot drag queen. That's gonna be my first like.
Wow. What type of material? Have you put out material or anything yet? Like
I'm gonna use a short taffeta.
okay.
Guess how many meters I'm gonna have to use.
So with meters and yardage is kind of different for us. So like
Kind of like I'm not sure.
Yeah, about a couple inches. So how many?
Yeah, so I've got to use 11 meters.
That's a what? That's a lot. That's dang.
11 meters of this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will you have like a train or something on the dress? Like what kind of what kind of design is it?
Like he's
okay.
So I'm doing like I'm doing like really big, so like puff shoulders that sort of taper down. That's where a lot of the material is going to be.
Gotcha.
Then I'm thinking about making a crinoline, so to kind of add volume, and then it's going to be quite kind of big as it comes off the waist.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting one.
Wow, man. So you're probably learning as you go with this project, right?
Oh god, yeah, so much.
Yeah.
Especially because I've never done any women's wear at all, or any, and I guess as well it's good because for a drag queen and he's a guy, so I don't need to do anything for kind of the bust area.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so
but
you won't get the actual full effect, but you'll
not the
get
full.
some of the design elements. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of been that really creative and just a bit kind of crazy with the design. Because as well, like you don't with the whole code drag scene, especially, you don't need to be tasteful. You don't need
Right.
to create something that you can just wear to go to the supermarket.
Right.
You can,
It's for the entertainment, it's for the,
yeah, it's like dramatic and sort of show
right.
stopping, the ultimate sort of creative potential.
That's what's up, man. Well, congrats on that, man. That's a huge project.
Thank you, thank you.
I can't wait to see it, man.
I'll probably still be like sewing it this time next year. It's just so massive.
So let's talk a little bit about your sewing space, man. So I know you're in London, and you say you in a flat. Like, what's your whole studio setup? Like, what kind of machine you working on?
So the machine I'm working on, I've got a Singer 5523, and
Okay.
I'm using my grandmother's old overlocker. So
Okay.
overlocker. So that's a super vintage machine and quite a new machine.
Nice.
And yeah, the space like I've got at the moment, it's my office desk, which is quite narrow.
Okay.
Also my bed. The amount of times I've lost pins and then I thought,
Found them later.
okay, yeah, or just woken up in the night because like one's stabbing me, or so I've learned not to pin on my bed.
Gotcha. Yeah, the smart.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm just trying to think of creative ways of creating more space. Like I'm thinking about getting maybe like a long table which have collapsible legs to put either side of the bed, so I can kind of create a bit of a studio there. But I think as well, like you just adapt your projects to the space you have.
Right.
Like you've just got to like make do. And I'm fortunate enough to actually have enough space which I can do these projects.
Okay.
But no,
So like if you run into like I guess a situation sewing and you trying to like figure something out, like is your mom like a quick call away, or you just try to figure it out, or like what's your go-to for things that you try to get a quick answer on? Because for me, I have wifey, so like when I first started sewing, I'm like, hey babe, hey, what I do here? Hey babe, come back. What's this? Hey babe, don't go nowhere, right here. What's this? So like for you, like what's been your like go-to?
So I always try to first do it myself because I'm quite stubborn.
Yeah.
If I can't do it, then I would either go onto YouTube and just try and find something, or
Okay.
yeah, I'd call up my mum or something and just say, "Do you mind just helping me with this?" But yeah, no, I generally so far I've been quite good at kind of doing the majority by myself. I think when I was doing the fitting for this current project, I was asking kind of my mum just for like sanity checks, because you know when you're by yourself, and you've got like a sort of a different idea of how to do something, you're like, is this kind of crazy, or is this actually going to work? And you just need a second person to be like,
Right.
oh yeah, that makes sense, or no, that's rubbish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's really helpful.
Okay. All right. Well, outside of this amazing gown that you're making, what future projects that you want to I guess shoot for as far as like goals? Like what's like something you like, you know, I can't wait till I really perfect this one thing.
Tailoring.
Tailoring. I knew you was gonna say that.
Yeah. Because that's just the ultimate combination of like style and like engineering, and
Yes.
it's I just kind of breathtaking being able to go through that whole process, and because it is such an art,
Right.
and then come out with something that is so unique,
Yeah.
and that so kind of fitted to you, and it is just singularly yours, is just something that which really excites me. So I've been when I first started sewing, I remember saying to my mum like, oh, maybe in a couple of months I'm gonna like start a suit, and then she's like, oh, maybe try a few things first.
Hey,
so,
I'm not I'm not sure if you
like,
heard my story. I'm kind of like the same way. I made a t-shirt, and then after that, wifey was like, what you gonna make next? I'm like, I think I want to make a suit. And she was like, you finna go from a t-shirt to a suit? I'm probably gonna say that story like 1,000 times on here. But she was like, nah, you got to, you know what I'm saying, relax a little bit. And she was right. I mean, once I got to the suits and all the skills and all that stuff I've been learning, it just helped in the process. And then I just learned even more actually doing the actual process. I mean, it's very time consuming. There's a very variety of skills that you have to have, you know what I'm saying, doing proper tailoring.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
so
that's
yeah, man, that's the ultimate. That was the ultimate for me too.
yeah, and like I think
And
as well, I learned a lot of patience of
yeah,
taking it slowly and not rushing it,
yeah,
because I found that just like if like right at the beginning of sewing a project, if one little detail is slightly wrong and you're like, yeah, it's fine, and then it comes back to haunt you.
yeah,
Um, and then I think especially with tailoring, it's so important that you just really take the time, just
yes,
really make sure you're not handling the material so much so it all frays apart and just
yes,
all things.
yes.
Um,
And then you put into, I guess, trying to match plaid if you're doing a plaid suit. You know, it's just so many different levels to it. You know.
yeah. So actually,
And,
there's in London, there's quite a lot of kind of lessons or like paid for kind of lessons you can go to where they have like a school that they can just show you kind of basics or help you along. So once lockdown is over here next year sometime,
okay,
I'd love to just actually go to a proper big studio and
okay,
work with a mannequin to actually just yeah, kind of do it properly and with some
yeah,
help if I need it.
yeah, absolutely, man. And plus, I have the famous what Savvy Roll
Yeah,
over there where
that's
you at?
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah. So
when I came to London first, I really wanted to just kind of pop my head into one of the shops,
yeah,
and it's so intimidating because they're really old, like really old historic
right.
sort of shops been around for like ages and ages and ages. And I felt like if I could have went in, they would just look at me being like, "No,
Get
just
out of here.
what are you doing?"
That's what's up, man. So that's been really cool, man. Learning a little bit about, you know what I'm saying, your background and just in a matter of months, you know what I'm saying, you have all these, you know what I'm saying, big goals and these projects you've been making and you're just enjoying it. You know, you don't have any other expectations than to just join the actual craft and learning it and just respecting it. Um, so now I'm just going to let's see, open up it for a few questions. So my boy, what is it, Michael Gardner, uh, he asked, have any other guys you've been inspired to sew since you started?
um, so like friends and like friends of scientists. So I think since I know I've had a lot of friends sort of say to me that they didn't realize how doable it is. And actually, one of my good friends, she recently got a sewing machine. I'm not going to say that's because of my influence, but
Maybe.
because I think but oh yeah, no, totally because of me, like 100%. Um, and I think yeah, a few other friends just said like, oh, I stitched something here, or I made a change to this piece of clothing.
Yeah,
Um, so I think it is just shattering that image of the inaccessibility of sewing,
yeah.
or that it's difficult or whatever. So yeah,
That's
I'd
what's
say
up. I think you got one. You got a couple people up under your belt. It sounds like.
yeah, I'm a total influencer now.
Uh, so, I think I have. Um, a close friend of mine that lives in South Carolina. He's never sewn or never talked about any of that, and it was just crazy to me one day that he was like, "Yeah, I got a sewing machine for my mom. I'm trying to figure this out." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to da da da." And you know, if they say certain things, you know that they really sewing. You know what I'm saying? They mention like seam allowance or, you know what I'm saying, something with a stitch. You're like, okay, you really learning. So yeah, I got a couple of friends I think I inspired.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's so important to just inspire other people when you can. And
Oh, so wifey asked, I got to go to your question, baby. She asked if your mom was impressed by your sewing.
I think she probably say in the comments somewhere, but yeah, I think so. And I think it's so important in our family, just that legacy. And for me, sewing is so personal because it reminds me of my grandmother a lot and our
Okay.
family. Just continuing that legacy. Yeah, she's wrote in the comments.
Oh, that's her. Ah!
Yeah, that's that. But yeah,
What's up,
it's so.
mom?
And like, I find it kind of emotional, especially when I'm using her overlocker because I'm thinking there are so many things I'd love to show her now to be able to say like, look what I've done.
Yeah.
And I think so that the knowing that I can't kind of do that just makes me want to do it even more. It makes me want to just sew more and continue that skill and that legacy in our family.
Oh, wow.
It's really interesting to me.
That's what's up, man. That sounds great. What else we have? What techniques do you find most difficult that thing you just can't get quite right? That was Mike, by the way. Mike Taylor.
Okay, I'm Mike. I think what I haven't really done properly yet are like French seams. So
Okay.
when I do my next shirt, I want to do French seams properly because this shirt that I'm wearing, the way I kind of did the seams, it was I know I just kind of made it up. Really, it looks all right on the inside, but it's not proper at all.
Got you. So French seams down the that inseam right there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
around that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah,
inside,
that's a real menswear technique, right? With button ups. Okay.
yeah, it's tricky. So that's probably the biggest thing I need to learn.
Yes, that's difficult too because you have to fold it and keep it folded all the way through the armhole. That's tough.
It's super tricky. But I will get there. I will get there.
Yeah. Let
What
me
about
see
you?
what we got. Who me?
Yeah. Are there anything?
Well, I think the one technique I really want to perfect is more of the build out of a suit. So, with the suit, you have all the extra build out and hand stitching and all that. So your chest won't look wrinkled. You have like a shoulder pad, you have a front chest pad, and then you have, more of that interfacing that's not fusible because sometimes you don't want to do fusible interfacing on really nice fabric. So just perfecting that a little bit more. Sometimes I do it, it'd be perfect. Sometimes I do it, and I'm like, damn, I just haven't quite gotten it right every single time, and then I end up cutting and starting over. But yeah, I think that's the one thing I really, really want to perfect a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, that's just something, again, like with tailoring, it just takes so much time to get perfect. But it's, yeah, I know it's a good thing to keep on learning.
Let me see what else we have.
I have another question.
I was going to ask, but I didn't know you wanted to put that out there. So Wifey might be filming a show next year in London, next summer. She asked, will you cook for her?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. All right. We get to meet moms and everything, huh? We go.
The whole introduction. Yeah, perfect.
That's what's up. We might go take some classes together, man, to get that tailoring thing down. Let's do it.
Definitely. I'll give you a good tour around London.
Babe, you crazy. Honestly, I didn't even know it said until I read to the end. Let me see. Daniel, do you have any male friends who you have introduced to sewing? I guess you kind of already asked that. I guess you kind of already answered that. Favorite sewing tool? Good question. What's your favorite sewing tool?
Favorite sewing tool?
Outside of the seam ripper that you hate.
I mean, I need to get a new or proper one because it's just not great, the one I've got. But I've got like a little kind of ruler.
Okay.
Like the adjustable red bit.
Yeah, seam gauge.
Yeah, seam gauge. So I love that so much.
Yeah,
it's really handy.
It's just so you put it to where it needs to be, and you can just put it down and just go back.
Yeah, really good. Also,
yeah,
I just like wearing a tape measure around my neck because it makes me look really fancy. So it's not necessarily useful, but just
Hey, I thought I only did that. I do that too. I just wear it like it's like,
Just like wearing it around my neck, being like, oh, I'm just sewing something. It's like,
right. especially like one of my friends might FaceTime me while I'm working. I haven't used it the entire project, but it just feels good to have it around your neck. And they be like, "Oh, okay, you must be working." Like, yeah, man, I'm in the studio. Mike said he do that too. Who else do that?
It's just like a little bit of a brag, but without really.
Yeah, ain't nobody watching me. It's just me, but it just makes me feel better.
Yeah, definitely.
What else we got? What else we got? Oh, have you seen anything of your mom's? Well, I guess yeah, because she made clothes for you. That
Yeah,
was a
so
question.
like we often compare projects and yeah, no, we definitely have like a good relationship with that, with the sewing sense.
Nice. So, do your mom still currently sew?
Yes, my mum sews loads. She makes I think pretty much all her new stuff.
What?
No, yeah, no, she is like super super talented.
What?
Like,
She got an account. We can go look at her stuff.
yeah. I mean, I'll send you the link afterwards. Where
Okay.
she gets some stuff, but yeah, no,
Okay.
she's like super super stylish anyway. So I guess I kind of get a lot of not inspiration from her style because it's obviously very different, but just that kind of sense of like fashion and that kind of style. I guess that kind of edgy style.
Oh, your sister's on here. She said your mom made her a jumpsuit for Christmas.
Oh yeah, so my sister, my mum made my sister a jumpsuit for Christmas.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Like,
What up, sis?
yeah, and actually I'm making my brother just some like lounge trousers for Christmas as well. Yeah, actually he's the one that lives in Chicago.
You a generous sewer. Okay. Sewing for other people. That's hard to come by now. Let me see what else we have. Hey, would Norris describe his style? Um, well, first let me ask you, how would you describe your style?
My style. So generally, I quite like my block colors, quite simple shapes, but adding something just a little bit different. So it could be using a pattern, but using a material which is just a bit more kind of like, or using a color which is just slightly different. I quite like keeping that block colors, so I don't really kind of use pattern a huge amount. So I'd say that's kind of my general style. I'm really inspired by like designers like Lewis Ruby, Daniel Fletcher,
Okay.
or like the Queen suiting, that kind of
Okay.
style as well, where it looks very sort of classic, but there is just something
Has
extra.
a pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. My style is more eclectic. I love mixing prints, patterns, colors, but all making it work together without you realizing that much is really going on. It's like it's a talent for that, and love a lot of vintage stuff. Currently, because obviously there's not as many modern patterns, I get a lot of inspiration from vintage patterns, and I just modernize it or just use the vintage design that it is. I mean, it's just super eclectic. I like mixing a lot of vintage with a lot of modern wear and creating more of my own stuff like that. If that answered the question. Let me see. Oh, April, you asked something. Okay. Uh, project you've gotten the most complicated on.
Compliment.
Oh yeah, compliments on. My bad.
Compliments.
What you got the most compliments on?
So I've probably got my most compliments through online, just because again with lockdown I haven't been able to wear much of my
Oh, you ain't been where? Oh, you in for a treat. Well, you in for a treat. Wait till you be in the street and people like, hey, what's that? I like it. And you be like, yeah, I made it. Or if they ask you where you get it from, and then you can't help but say, oh, I made it. It's gonna be a great feeling.
Good feeling, yeah. But I mean, online I've had so much support and compliments on Instagram.
Nice.
So I think the one I've had the most compliments was either that T-shirt, the block color one, or I think the bomber jacket was pretty good.
Do you have that with you right now?
Yeah, sure. I've got it all in my cupboard here.
Oh yeah, you know he had it handy. I had to ask him. Let's see it. Ooh, Ooh.
That's nice.
Ooh, that's nasty. Oh wow.
And
Oh
there's a
wow, that's
really
amazing. That must have got by me. I don't think I actually seen that. That's amazing.
oh yeah, no, I'm super happy with it. And it's
Oh
lined.
wow.
So the fabric, there's an amazing fabric store in London in a place called Brixton, and the actual that they designer of that fabric was an ex Gucci designer.
Okay.
So technically, I can say, oh yeah, it's Gucci, handmade,
Ah, nice.
kind of.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh
And
wow.
that was like I think the third thing I made, third or
Oh,
fourth.
oh wow. Third thing ever. There's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
third thing ever making.
yeah.
Man, true, a natural baby.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Uh, mm, man, that was amazing, bro. I went ready to see that. Let me see. Okay, no, they made the club.
Actually, yeah,
Norris,
I
have
was
you
saying
ever?
earlier, like I don't use patterns much, and then that's like the most pattern thing.
Got you. Next question on the Corner Rainbow. What's up? Where did it go? Boom, 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 boom. I thought I just had it. Oh, here we go. Have you ever made any clothes for Mimi? Um, yes, I have. Um, but the most recent thing that I made for her was actually for me. Um, it was it was an actual it's a jumpsuit, and I did all the modifications. I made the sleeve longer. I made I made I think it was the middle. It was something with a pocket I had to change to it, and I made the legs a little bit longer, and I forgot to lengthen the torso. I'm cutting the fabric, and after I got done, I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't modify, and I'm like, damn it. And me, I'm just lazy. I'm like, you know what? Let me just sew it anyway. The worst, I just give it to her. So I'm making it, and of course, I couldn't get it. Actually, I couldn't get my shoulders. You know how to jump, so you got to step into it. And I was like, man, I like, babe, can you do something with this? Like, I'm praying that she can make it. I mean, that she can wear it. So it wasn't just time spent. And it was perfect. I was like, fit like a glove. I was like, oh. So yeah, that was the last thing I made for wifey. What about you? Oh yeah, you made something for your brother now, right?
Yes, I'm making something for
You
my
heard me?
brother. I think that'll be the first thing I've made. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah? No?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, no, I made some. I'm gonna make something for my brother. Oh, I think it's a bit laggy. Hold on. Give it a sec.
Christmas.
Okay. Yeah,
You
so
see
I'm
me?
gonna
You
make
hear me?
something for my brother, but I haven't actually made anything
Okay.
for anyone else yet. He's gonna be the first person I make something for. Just because I want to make the confidence that I can actually make something good enough, which is just a psychological thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would like to make more stuff for friends, especially just to learn about the fitting process. Just because I can learn
Okay.
my own body shape, learn kind of how it works for other people as well.
Gotcha. That's what's up, man. What else do we have before we get up out of here? You just sent a question, April. Where you at? What is it?
Will you try to make something for your mom?
Oh, will you try to make something for your mom?
Yeah, I would like to. I would really like to. And then
Yeah.
it's just the thing. It's like when
You better take your time because she's gonna be looking on the inside.
Yeah, the first thing she'll do is turn it inside out.
Right, before she even know what it is. Let me see what's inside this thing. Oh, she said yes, please. She wants something. Yes, let's go. That's what's up, man. It's lagging a little bit. It's lagging a little bit.
And his auntie, please. Your auntie's
Your
on
auntie's
here
on here too? Oh.
Everybody out here.
She said your auntie wants something too.
The whole family.
Oh, that's what's up. um, before we get out of here, can you hear me? You hear me now? I sound like a Verizon commercial. Oh man, okay. Before we get out of here, um, yeah, I hear you. Somebody, everybody wants something. um, before we get out of here for the last time, I want to know if what would you tell another guy or another female or whatever that's looking to get into menswear? You know, like what would you, so what tips would you give them? What inspiration, words of inspiration would you give them to, to tell them to, get started?
So I would say initially, I would say that the fear of it being too difficult, or the fear that you won't do it right, or whatever fears you might have that's stopping you, those are surmountable. Those are kind of these big blocks that we have in our head, these big walls. But like they're all kind of made up fears in our head. They might seem so real, but actually, when we get started and when we kind of when we sort of take these sort of small steps, that actually we realize that those fears weren't that big after all. And then you look back a couple of months later and you think, wow, did I find this did I think this was impossible at the start? Like, this is mad. So I think that just being aware that that fear, that block you might have, it's not impossible to overcome it. And I think on a practical level, just start following people and styles that you find that you resonate.
That's a good one.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Just to get a sense of their style. And then think about like what you really want to make, because if you never sometimes it can be like, well, you're not going to be interested while you make it,
right.
So you're probably not going to get to the best.
That's true. Yeah. Awesome, man. That's awesome. Is there anything you want to, promote or anything you want to mention before we leave here? It's a little laggy. Hello?
Oh, he's broke.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I hear you now. Dang it. Okay. I can barely hear you, but before we close out, I want everybody to know that we have a private Facebook group. This is Dope Men Sew. It's basically a place where menswear sewers, makers, creators, designers, all that good stuff. We have a space for us. We share different projects, we share patterns, knowledge, and we just share inspiration. And it's a community that we're building. Even you, Daniel, you're responsible for the movement. I mean, you making stuff, you posting it, so you putting your energy out there, and we're just growing the community together. That's just how I see it. So if you're interested in sewing, if you're a beginner, you're intermediate, or whatever it is, if you have knowledge and you know what I'm saying, want to, you know what I'm saying, share some of your stuff, I mean, Dope Men Sew is a really good group that you can join. Outside of that, I also have to mention shout out to Wifey and Brittany J. Jones for Melanated Fabrics, online fabric store. If you need fabrics handpicked by some of the best in the industry. I mean, you want to go there and look at the selection, and it's constantly growing. It's constantly growing, and I'm curating fabric picks for us fellas. We won't be left out of this one, you know. So there's a whole section just for us: denim, suiting, corduroy, all that good stuff. Just go look at the collection. But other than that, that's it. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on, and
Thank
I
you
will
so
see
much.
you all in the next interview. All right, all right.
See you.
Y'all have a
Thanks so
good night.
much.
All right.